And this is a very active situation still ongoing. We are told a 5-car chain reaction crash happened here on South 68th Street. Every now and then we can see the actual eclipse happening. And when that does happen, you hear roars of the crowd because people are so excited about this event. That icy blast is just coming right back into Lincoln and could really pose some problems, snow or no snow. By raising them to 36 inches, you make a difference down here, where you can make room for pavement overlay. Parking spots like this one, and this one will start to fill up. Holman's powerful presence on the net will be paramount for the Huskers as they take on the Florida Gators. A water main break isn't what you want to see when your high temperatures are below freezing. To go over here and hide in his tiny tin shed before being a part of this huge mess. The question is, how did that much gas get inside of this home to cause such destruction? The fire incinerated parts of this building, reducing people's belongings to ash. It's all because of a suspected wrongly discarded cigarette. I haven't fallen yet, but I think this might be the one. I think I'm gonna watch the rest of it, guys, so we'll send it back to you.
All right, Nicole Cousins reporting for us.
A massive explosion rocks this South Lincoln neighborhood.
It just sounded like a huge bomb went off.
My first thought was a bomb.
I honestly thought a plane crashed.
This home north of 77th and Old Cheney reduced to rubble in an apparent natural gas explosion. The 2 victims inside severely burned, suffering life-threatening injuries, now fighting to stay alive.
Victims apparently were shot out of the home.
Jeff Hoham was one of the first on scene. I spoke to his neighbor who administered aid to the victims. He didn't want to appear on camera, but said their outlook is grim. Bystanders now holding on to hope.
Praying that they will be okay. It's the most important thing. Obviously, the scene is just unbelievable. These things just don't happen every day.
The blast was felt as far as a mile away. It not only leveled the home, but blew out the windows of others, rocking their foundation and spewing debris throughout the neighborhood.
Things were off the wall. There were other damage inside. It was really a huge explosion that went off.
Neighbors recounting the seconds it happened. First, the sound of a bomb, and then ammunition sounding. Hundreds of rounds firing off from the heat.
Just intense flames, something I've never felt before. I mean, the heat that hit me literally knocked me back.
Lincoln Fire and Rescue now saying there is no immediate danger to the neighborhood. Black Hills Energy, Lincoln Electric System, the State Fire Marshal, and Red Cross among the dozens of crews on scene to help monitor and find the source of the explosion. Thankful the casualties weren't higher.
Certainly other bystanders absolutely could have been seriously injured or killed. There's some very large debris that was thrown a very long distance.
Officials say upwards of 8 homes are unlivable Monday night. The Red Cross is locating those families who need it. Tom and Paula Peterson and their daughter Erica should be out here in the fields of their farm northeast of Lincoln, harvesting 2,000 acres of corn and soybeans.
Every year is a little bit different, and it's just another different one, I guess.
But because of heavy rain, turned into mud.
It's muddy and you just can't get there.
They've spent most of this harvest on the farmstead.
This year everything is so well soaked up. Well, and everything was planted a little bit later in the spring, and so harvest starts a little later in the fall. You know, now we just hope we can get a solid enough ground to go work on and get it out.
It's the waiting game grain farmers across Nebraska are playing. Most crops are mature, but the USDA says the state's corn harvest is 16% behind where it's supposed to be. Soybean harvest is at half the yearly average, and time is of the essence.
The worst case scenario in my mind would be, winter comes.
Instead of sitting on their hands, the Petersons are finding ways to keep busy, fixing up the combine and weaning their now very noisy herd of young cattle, hoping the fields dry out before more problems stack up.
I think our biggest problem once we get to go will probably be can the elevators keep up with the amount of crop that's going to hit all at once? Everybody's going to be on one thing and shoving it at the elevators, and can they keep up?
Until then, all they can do is hope Mother Nature cooperates.